Hello everyone, it's Jack Cotton, luxury real estate expert, author, and agent. I'm here in something beautiful, luxurious, but not overly ostentatious Cape Cod office. We just finished our 5-week series on negotiation. I've gotten some really nice emails from people who learned a lot from this series. If you have a question, a challenge, a success you want to share with me about negotiation, please let me know. If there's something I haven't covered and you want me to cover, let me know that as well. But assuming you went through the whole 5-week series and you learned all you need to know about negotiation, you become a much better negotiator, getting properties at the right price, at the right commission, the one that you deserve, for the amount of time required to get the property to sell. Now you've got the listing, and the key now is to keep the listing. Here's a news flash. The market is not red hot in all parts of the country. There are parts of the country where things are staying in the market for a long time. There are parts of the country right now where in the high end, like the $3, $5, and $10 million price range, that there's a 3 to 5 to 10 year supply of real estate on the market, which means we can do a whole session on pricing, but we've got to keep the listing for longer periods of time in many markets. And the way to do that is by communication. So I have the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil symbol here, because communication is the key for keeping a listing longer, if that's necessary, long enough for the property to actually sell, especially in markets where the market is not quite as hot as it is where you are today. And here's another alert. It's going to come to you at some point, so be ready for it. But let's talk about how we keep the listing. Well, the number one thing we do is we always want to think of something to say when there's nothing to say, because oftentimes if a property has not been shown in a while, there's nothing to say. So during the next couple of weeks, I'll give you a lot of ideas about things to talk about when there is nothing to say. But the first thing I want to talk about today with communication is a form I call the marketing confirmation form. Some people call this a show slip. I call it a marketing confirmation form because while I do fill these out after every single showing, you know, the address is here, the date's here, the activity description is here, who was it shown to, and what were the comments is here. I also use these for any kind of marketing that takes place for the property, any kind of activity of any kind. For example, if we bring up the topic of a particular listing during an office meeting, we have a brainstorming strategy session, I will fill out a marketing confirmation and send it to the seller. If I meet somebody in the produce aisle of the supermarket and I talk about this particular listing, I will fill out a marketing confirmation and send it to the seller. If I change the order of the pictures in MLS, if I change the description in MLS, if I do anything remotely connected to the marketing of this listing, I will fill out a marketing confirmation and send it to the seller. Now the show slips I keep separately in a separate part of the folder because a lot of times the seller will say to me, how many times have you shown the property? And with our antiquated little system here, this is what works for us. So here's my system. I designed this as an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And you can see it has the comments here and then feedback here. So what I do is I leave this on the kitchen counter of the seller's property. And then on my phone, on my iPhone, you can see circled in red is my scanner app. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture of that with the scanner app, and it converts it to a PDF that I can mail back to the office. Once it arrives back at the office, a copy is made for the file, and then we drag it over to the listing folder in Dropbox, and we have a separate folder within the listing folder for show slips, for showing confirmations. So we have everything there. So if I can tell a seller we've had 50 showings in the past year and no one's wanted to buy your property, that's more evidence that the price needs to be adjusted. So that's my system. You can use any form of this that you like, but communication is the key. Now, as the next few weeks unfold and I talk more about keeping the listing through great communication, I'll bring this spreadsheet up here more than once. And it's a really simple way of illustrating and keeping track of how often you communicate with your sellers. So I have the address of the seller, the MLS number, their name and the price. And then I have this 4 weeks in a month, and it goes all the way for all 12 months. Just this part is what would fit on the screen. Just remind me to do weekly communication, and I'll talk to you a lot about that as well. If you want a copy of this spreadsheet, I'll be happy to send it to you. So we're going to delve more into communication and what we need to do to communicate in order to keep our sellers in the fold for the amount of time necessary to get the property sold. If you're in a really hot market where things are selling in a day, you don't have to do a lot of communication. There are parts of the country where that is not the case. And again, as I said, as we begin our time together here today, you may find yourself in that situation sometime in the not too distant future. I hope not, but it's possible. So communication is the key. We're going to cover more topics, including what to say when there's nothing to say when we get back together in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, just a quick reminder that the first Tuesday of every month, luxuryrealestateunplugged.com. Check out the website. Really a great deal for one-on-one coaching in a group setting for luxury real estate coaching. Check it out, luxuryrealestateunplugged.com. Until next week, make it a great one.